In this lesson, we'll take a look at array and dataset type tags. We'll start off in the tag browser. I have an OPC tag. We can see its data type is set to an int2, and we can see the value here. Let's say I didn't care so much about the value on the tag as I did the individual bits. If I wanted to expose those into the tag browser, I can simply change the data type of this tag to an array type. So I'm going to edit the tag. I'll double click on it. I'll come over to the data type drop down here, and I'll scroll on down, and we can see all the different types of arrays. I'll change the type to Boolean array, and click OK. Now if we expand the tag, we can see that the value is updated. I've made a pretty significant change to this tag, so I'm going to refresh the tag browser, and if we head on back down, you can see that value is now expandable. Inside, each bit is exposed as an element in the array. If I wanted to display these values in my window here, I can select several by shift-clicking. Then I can drag them onto my window and create some multi-state indicators. Now because all elements within the array share the same core data type, we can add an alarm to the array tag and have that alarm be applied to each element. So I'll double-click on the tag. Let's head over to the alarming section. I'm going to double-click and add a new alarm, and the only change I'll make is I'll change the set point to 1. So when any bits go high, we're going to trigger an alarm. I'll click OK. And if we look at this alarm status table component at the top, you can see the alarms. Now you can also write to the individual elements in an array. I'm not going to try to write to the bits on the Boolean array here. Instead, I have a string array memory tag I can use. I'll expand the string array and expand value. If I wanted to write to an element, it's as easy as writing to a tag in the tag browser. I can double-click on the value column and type something in. If I want my users to be able to see these values, then I can either select an individual element, or select multiple with another shift click, and then drag them onto my window. This time I'll create some text field components. Now, if my users type into these text fields, all of the values will be stored inside of a single tag. Next, let's look at a dataset type tag. I'm going to collapse this array tag here, and we can see that I have a query tag already called dataset. I'll double click on it. We can see its data type has been set to a dataset. And if we look at the query real quick, it's just grabbing a couple different columns from a database table I have. I'll close the tag editor, and if we expand the dataset tag under the value section, each column in the query is represented by a different folder. Inside of each folder are the values for that column. Now dataset tags are a little bit different than arrays. I can't write directly to the cells here. The reason I can't change the values like this is because datasets are immutable. If I wanted to change the values in this query tag, I would need to change the query or modify my database table in some way. Now if I wanted to display the dataset on a window somewhere, I simply need a vision component that has a property that is a data type of dataset. So for example, I have this power table down below here. I can select the tag and drag it down to the data property on the power table. And there we can see all of my data from that dataset tag. Now the tag is driving the data on the power table. If I had a large number of clients open looking at this window, there would still only be a single query sent out to the database, as opposed to each instance of the power table sending out its own query. In cases where I'm simply trying to display a dataset in a client, this is a more efficient approach than using a query binding.